Good morning, America. Breaking overnight, a suspect arrested in the shooting death of 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes, charged with capital murder. Did this sketch figure into the arrest?
Weather alert, the major Pacific storm, cars mired in mud from torrential rains, heavy snow shutting down highways.
There went the power.
Power lines blown.
Woo!
And more dangerous weather on the way.
At the bargaining table, the meeting between the president's team and congressional staffers over that government shutdown and the wall that is in the way, the new demands Democrats are making to the White House.
New lawsuits, the so-called dancing doctor facing claims from 10 more patients. Now one of her former patients is speaking out.
To this day, I'm still bleeding. My incisions are not healed.
How she says she's still suffering months after her procedure.
And the rivals are ready. Clemson and Alabama gearing up for the championship game. We're live at Levi's Stadium with a preview as the teams go head-to-head for the third time in 4 years.
Live from ABC News in New York, this is Good Morning America.
Hey, good morning. And guess who's back to cover that big college football game? Former Weekend GMA co-host Paula Ferris. We're not going to let her talk. All she can do is wave.
That's it.
She's in Santa Clara, California this morning, and she's also miming, which I didn't know was one of her skills.
Right.
We are going to let her
Multi-talented.
talk. She's like, I want to talk, or she can't hear us yet.
Yeah,
She's
she
not
can
plugged.
hear us, yes. I'll be getting a nasty text as soon as we let her go.
We'll have much more from Paula coming up. We'll also have the latest on the government shutdown. We are heading into day 16. A new round of negotiations expected this afternoon. So many workers on edge, not getting paid. They're waiting, and the political tension is only growing.
We start here, though, with the breaking news overnight. An arrest made in a horrifying case out of Houston. A 7-year-old girl named Jasmine Barnes shot in the backseat of her mother's car when a vehicle pulled up alongside and opened fire. ABC's Marcus Moore has the very latest from Houston. Marcus, good morning.
Oh, Whit, good morning. It is a tragic case, and one of the suspects just went before a judge a short time ago. He's facing a charge of capital murder, and we also learned during that proceeding that there may have been more than one person involved in this shooting that prosecutors say may have been the tragic result of mistaken identity. The break in the case finally coming overnight. Investigators arresting this man in the death of 7-year-old Jasmine Barnes. Authorities charging 20-year-old Eric Black Jr. with capital murder. The sheriff's department saying Black admitted to taking part in the shooting after a tip led to him. In court this morning, prosecutors revealing Black allegedly drove the vehicle in the shooting, but another man was the gunman.
One party appears to be trapped inside the vehicle, possibly deceased.
It was a week ago this morning. Jasmine was killed while riding in a car with her mom and 3 sisters in West Houston. The family had said a white male opened fire on them, bullets hitting Jasmine and her mother in what they believed was a hate crime.
He intentionally killed my child for no reason.
Authorities left searching for this red truck. Overnight, the sheriff's office tweeting, quote, all evidence gathered so far in the Jasmine Barnes homicide case supports investigators' strong belief that she and her family were innocent victims. The development comes just days after the family helped investigators with a composite sketch of the alleged shooter, who they said was a blue-eyed white man. Hours before investigators announced the arrest, Jasmine's distraught mother joining the heartbroken community at a rally.
We gonna find him no matter what corner we have the time.
And we understand from prosecutors that investigators at the scene found as many as 8 spent shell casings along a 400-foot stretch of feeder road here in Houston, and that indicates that someone was firing from a moving vehicle. And guys, this morning, prosecutors say a tip led them to the suspects in this case, and that tipster also indicated that perhaps this may have stemmed from an earlier incident. The suspects may have targeted the wrong car. Guys.
It's just a horrifying story, as we said. Marcus Moore reporting in from Houston. Marcus, thank you. We do have another breaking story we're covering this morning. A major Pacific storm bringing high winds, torrential rain, and heavy snow to the American West.
Hundreds of thousands of power outages from California to Washington, and there are more storms on the way. Rob is tracking it all. Rob, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Eva. This is a powerful and wide-reaching storm. The entire West Coast getting into the act of this. And right now, the winds are really ramping up across the Pacific Northwest, notably Seattle. And the approach of this storm is such that the winds have accelerated, increased speed really rapidly, just in about an hour's time, from 0 to near 50 miles an hour. And that's what they're experiencing now across parts of Southern California. Rainfall in excess of 1 inch in about an hour. And that's causing all sorts of problems across the West Coast.
Overnight, a major storm system pounding the West Coast, bringing mudslides, flash flooding, heavy snow, while also knocking out power. In Malibu, torrential rain triggering this mudslide on the busy Pacific Coast Highway, the same area scorched by the Woolsey fire this fall. Part of the highway shut down, vehicles stuck, responding officers navigating through the deep mud. Also in Southern California, multiple funnel clouds spotted. Watch as this funnel spins off the coast of Long Beach. In Northern California, heavy snow and whiteout conditions there. This was a scene on Interstate 80, which was shut down for hours, drivers forced to pull over and chain up. The heavy snow causing several accidents, snarling traffic and leaving cars backed up for miles. In San Francisco, coastal flooding, strong winds reaching up to 70 miles per hour, sending dangerous large waves and high tides right into San Francisco Bay, shutting down the popular Pier 14. The storm also knocking out power lines in Washington state. Take a look at this dramatic video showing a power line sparking and catching fire. This morning, more than 200,000 customers without power.
There went the power.
Woo!
My goodness, and those numbers will be increasing as far as how many people are going to be in the dark today. So here's storm number 1, storm number 2, and another one that will come later in the week way out there across the tip of the Aleutian Islands. We'll get a bit of a break, but we've got all these watches and warnings. Heavy snow expected in the mountains, and the winds will again be increasing with our next little system coming in tonight through tomorrow through San Francisco. This should clear out by the time the national championship game heads tomorrow, and then another one Tuesday and Wednesday. One of these does go coast to coast. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes. Eva?
All right, thanks, Rob. Now to day 16 of the government shutdown. A new round of negotiations expected this morning at the White House.
Sources telling ABC News that Democrats want specific details about how the money for border security would be spent. ABC's White House correspondent Tara Palmieri is at the White House this morning with the very latest. Tara.
Good morning, Whit. There's been a lot of talk, but not a lot of progress, and a pressure point is coming up. The first paycheck of the year for many federal workers is scheduled to go out on January 11th, and if they don't get that paycheck, you can expect that Republicans and Democrats will take the blame. On the 16th day of the shutdown, negotiations between the White House and Democrats still far apart. After this roughly 2-hour meeting between the vice president, senior advisor Jared Kushner, DHS Secretary Kirstjen Nielsen, and senior congressional staffers from both sides of the White House, the president tweeting, "Not much headway made today. Second meeting set for tomorrow."
I thought we had come in to talk about terms that we could agree on. We recognize that things like technology are important, border crossings are important, but certainly a barrier is important.
The Democrats say they won't continue negotiations until the White House presents a formal breakdown on how the $5.7 billion for border security funding will be spent. While the majority of the talk Saturday focused on plans for security rather than a budget, weeks ago Mulvaney signaled that the president would be willing to take less than half of his original asking price of $5.7 billion.
If you're at $5 billion on something and I'm at 1.3, and we're talking about money, maybe there is a place in between there that we can compromise.
Despite losing leverage when the Democrats took control of the House, Trump not backing down from his initial demand. Democrats insisting it's not needed.
It's a wall between reality and his constituents, supporters.
The shutdown affecting 800,000 federal employees, either working without pay or furloughed. But the president claiming they support his fight for a wall, a battle he warns could last for months or even years.
I think if you ever really looked at those people, I think they'd say, Mr. President, keep going. This is far more important.
Furloughed Cam Perez, an assistant chief of counsel at Immigrations and Customs Enforcement, says he's tired of being a pawn on the political stage.
Whether it's a Democratic issue or a Republican issue, I don't think anybody at ICE wants to sort of be held hostage with it and be forced to work for free while this all plays out.
The shutdown has only added to the immense backlog in the immigration courts. Many of the cases from the past 2 weeks have had to be rescheduled to later dates, some years away. in a way undermining the president's zero-tolerance immigration policies. Dan?
Tara Palmieri at the White House. Tara, thank you. Let's bring in a ringer now. Our chief anchor, George Stephanopoulos, just back from vacation. He's going to be hosting this week, later this morning.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, sir. So as this shutdown drags on, we're going to see increasing political pressure and increasing human pressure as the toll rises on these workers, hundreds of thousands of them. Who do you think, which side is likely to feel the pressure more keenly, the president or the Democrats?
Actually, I'm not sure it's going to be either the president or the Democrats, but look at Republicans in the Congress. That's where the pressure is going to be. Tara pointed out that there's going to be, the paychecks are going to stop on January 11th if there's no solution. And that's not just Washington, D.C. That's Texas. That's California. That's Wyoming. That's Montana. It's all across the country. Already, 3 Republican senators have broken ranks and said, let's just open up the government and negotiate later. That's who you have to watch over the course of the next week. What happens to Republican senators, Republican House members, as they start to hear from constituents? Do they put the pressure on the president to come up with some kind of a deal?
Do you think there's a grand deal here to be done? But there's been talk of, let's help out the Dreamers, the DACA program, and you give me money for the wall.
In theory, that's one possibility, but right now it doesn't appear that either the president or the Democrats are really interested in that deal, and I'm not really sure how this is going to end. Usually you can predict, as Mick Mulvaney was saying, that there's some kind of a compromise that can be reached, but the president has already rejected some kind of a deal that would go right in the middle on the money, about $2.5 billion, and he wants to be able to say that in some way he has a wall. Democrats just aren't going to go along with that.
On the show this morning, you have Julian Castro, used to be the mayor of San Antonio. He was also a cabinet secretary under Obama. He's expected to throw his hat in the ring for the 2020 presidential race as a Democrat.
One of 30.
Well, yeah, that was just going to say. So we've got maybe 30 people who are going to do this. When you have a crowded field, is that a good and healthy sign for the Democrats, or is it chaotic in a way that helps Trump?
I'm not sure it helps Trump. I think it depends on what happens over the course of the primaries and how they work out, how Democrats work out their differences in whether the process creates a strong candidate. I think far more important for President Trump is what happens in his own party. We saw Mitt Romney unleash that broadside against him earlier this week, even though he said he's not running. One of the single most important determinants on whether an incumbent president wins again is whether he's challenged by his own party. Right now, no Republican has said, I'm definitely going in, but if somebody does, and it's a serious challenge, that's what to watch for.
People are looking at people, at Governor Kasich or Jeff Flake. There are a lot of people, names out there. George, thank you very much. And I want to remind everybody, George has a big show this morning coming up. He's going to talk to 2 key power brokers in the new Congress, Armed Services Committee Chair Adam Smith and Republican Conference Chair Liz Cheney. That's coming up on This Week, later this morning, right here on ABC. George, thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.
Now to an ABC News exclusive, the mother and grandmother of a fugitive accused of running down a woman are speaking out first here on GMA.
ABC's Marcy Gonzalez is in Los Angeles with the plea they're making to their loved one on the run. Marcy, good morning.
Hi, guys. Good morning. They say they have no idea where she is and say they haven't been able to reach her, hoping she will see this interview and come forward. This morning, the driver accused of killing a Las Vegas nail technician still on the run. The suspect's family speaking exclusively to ABC, pleading with her to turn herself in.
You can't run, baby. You cannot run. You have to come forward, baby.
Police releasing this old booking photo of the suspect, 21-year-old Crystal Whipple, who they say plowed into 51-year-old Nok Win while trying to leave the salon without paying for her $35 manicure.
Our mom was really loved by the community here. It's very traumatizing.
Authorities say Whipple's credit card was declined at the salon. Surveillance video shows her walking to her car, telling employees she was going to get cash. Instead, police say she starts the engine. Win running in front of the black Camaro to stop it from leaving. Her boyfriend, Sonny Chung, chasing after her. Here you see the car accelerate, driving straight into Win, dragging her through the parking lot. Chung hanging onto the back until the car speeds off.
We are going to put an extraordinary amount of resources into this to make sure that the person, the outstanding suspect, is held accountable for it.
The manhunt now in its 9th day, Whipple's family in tears sharing their condolences.
I'm so sorry that you lost your mom, and I couldn't imagine how you feel, and I hope that you find it in your heart to forgive my daughter and my family. We're so sorry.
And Wynn was a mother of 3, her family joining investigators in urging anyone who knows where Whipple is to call police. guys.
Marcia Gonzalez reporting from Los Angeles. Thank you. We're going to turn now to the latest legal troubles facing the actor Kevin Spacey.
The embattled star is expected to appear in court Monday. ABC's Ariel Reshef joins us with those charges he's facing. Ariel, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. A Massachusetts judge denied Spacey's request not to appear in court, ordering him to show up. So for the first time, he'll answer a felony charge for alleged sexual assault.
Kevin Spacey due in court Monday. The embattled actor expected before a Nantucket judge to be arraigned on a felony sexual assault charge. It would be the first time Spacey has surfaced in public since sexual misconduct allegations cost him his iconic role as Frank Underwood on the hit Netflix show House of Cards.
But I have to do these sort of things now. Makes me seem more human.
A character the 59-year-old seemingly invoked in this cryptic video he posted over the holidays.
And my confidence grows each day that soon enough you will know the full truth.
The two-time Academy Award winner accused of groping the teenage son of former Boston News anchor Heather Unruh at a Nantucket bar in 2016.
Shame on you for what you did to my son. This was a criminal act.
Police now saying the 18-year-old, a busboy at the time, may have shot video of the alleged encounter, sending it to his girlfriend on Snapchat because she did not believe him. In this audio recording obtained by ABC News at a recent court hearing, Spacey's defense team seeming to tip their hand to their strategy.
He indicated that he was 23 years old, correct?
That's correct.
Was that a correct or an incorrect or a false statement?
That was an incorrect statement.
Calling the accuser's credibility and that video into question.
What the video shows is a person's hand made contact with the shirt, correct?
Yes.
Okay, not any body part.
Correct. You don't see any body parts.
We should expect Spacey's team to put forth a pretty vigorous defense. They are going to fight back pretty strenuously.
And Spacey is charged with felony indecent assault or battery. He has denied the allegations in the past, but has not commented on this criminal charge. He's also facing investigations for alleged sexual misconduct in Los Angeles and in England.
All right, Ariel Reshef, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Let's turn now to Rob Marciano, still fresh off of his vacation retreat.
Hola.
Do you feel any guilt when you come back, though? And you come back from the tropics, and then it's like, oh, it's a mess everywhere else.
No problema.
No.
Gusta, Mexico, Mexico. Let's go to Chicago.
That's
I'm not going to go further than that. Hey, congrats to the Bears. First time in 8 years going to the playoffs. So to celebrate that, a local ice sculptor created 4 of these Bears-inspired sculptures to go around the city. Well, yesterday, temperatures reached 52 degrees, so a lot of these started to melt. Today, we're going to see temperatures kind of go cooler. It's all about the wind direction this time of year in Chicago. As this high goes east, we'll get more of an easterly wind off the chillier waters of the Lake Michigan, so it'll be temperatures a little bit more seasonable today. And then this storm system comes in tonight, tomorrow, so the game, look at the game in no problem. And this will mostly be rain, but only snow and ice across the northern tier. It does get to the northeast Tuesday morning, and that will usher in even more cold air. There's going to be just enough cold air here Tuesday morning to probably see a little bit of snow, especially north of and west of I-95. But there you see some of the snow accumulations expected here. The Arrowhead of Michigan and the UP of Michigan and the Arrowhead of Minnesota. We'll see the most significant snows here in the next 12 to 24 hours. All right, that's a look at the national headlines. Weather-wise, time now for a look at your local forecast.
Good morning, Washington. Meteorologist Alex Liggett here. A sunny day today. Have some breezy winds at times, but overall a beautiful way to round out the weekend. Temperatures reaching the mid and upper 50s by the afternoon. A great day to get out, get some energy out because, yes, colder air is on the way. 26 to 33 tomorrow morning, so a colder start to the day. I think we'll have increasing clouds. We'll have mostly cloudy skies the majority of the afternoon. Check out your Monday forecast. High temperatures reaching the lower 40s by the afternoon hours.
First playoff game today, in Baltimore, and should be okay for the weather there. So no issues weather-wise for the big games today.
No more Spanish? No more Spanish?
No,
you done with that?
He's been
No, senor.
Yeah.
No mas.
Finito.
No mas.
That may be Italian, I'm not sure.
Yeah. En fuego. Yeah. Thank you, brother. Appreciate it.
Well, speaking of playoffs, because he mentioned that wonderful word, to say fans are excited about the NFL playoffs is an understatement. Take a look at what happened when the gates opened at AT&T Stadium in Dallas Saturday, right before the Cowboys wildcard matchup against the Seattle Seahawks.
Walmart on Black Friday.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you're running. Dude, you're in the front of the line.
Wait, don't they have tickets with seat numbers on them?
Well, first of all, it's free.
Oh.
Fans racing into the stadium to claim their spot, most likely in the standing room only section.
Yep.
And it was worth the effort for Dallas fans. The Cowboys